When we are tapping into our higher consciousness, what we have to realize is that there's gonna be layers of meanings within everything. So that's why it's really interesting when when you expand your consciousness and you go back and you read the same book or you watch the same movie, and in my case it's rewatch Beauty and the Beast, and it's kind of hitting hard on me right now. And this is really when you will understand that there are layers and codes within this reality. When you, let's say, read the Bible, right, and when you just read it for what it is, then you only understand it as a 3D level. And the moment when I realized that I am not really reading these words, I am seeing something completely different about manifestations. When I was guided to learn about the Bible and Christianity, I think it was 2 years ago, I was on this journey. I was like really tripping out because I'm like, what the F am I reading right now? Because I'm seeing codes within codes and layers within layers. And maybe you're someone on your spiritual journey right now and you're seeing codes and symbolism and even sacred geometries all around you. Because the thing is, our world is all encoded. Right? It's like, I don't know if you've seen the Matrix movie when Cypher is like he's doing his whatever villain thing, but it's like he reads the codes of the Matrix and it's like, oh, I see like brunette, blonde, red dress, or whatever, right? And that's exactly what it is. When you begin to read the codes, once you tap into the symbolism and the meaning of words and, the symbolism of just literally everything, you are going to understand or understand the layers upon layers upon layers, and everything is literally hidden in plain sight for you to awaken to it. And it's really fascinating because you can see mathematics and these sacred geometries and how everything works within, let's say, a flower. You can look at a leaf and you see that. You can look at a tree and you see that. You can look at your pillow and you see that, and you can look at your face and you see that. You can look at the structure of your hair and you can see that. So spirituality, while people fight over it, like, oh, science, psychology, biology, spirituality, but it's all the same. You can explain the same thing in all of these ways. You can explain the same concept in psychology, in this school of thought, in this biology way, in this spiritual way, in this religious way. It's all the same. So when you begin to see these layers, you will realize that, oh my gosh, we're living in such an interesting world. We're living in this reality that we know really nothing about. But at the same time, everything is hidden at plain sight. And I think a lot of people, they will go into the psychedelics or drugs or whatever path to tap deeper into this truth. But it's not the only way. It's not the only way. You can be in contemplation. You can open up your awareness and you can see the interconnectedness and the sameness, because it's the oneness ultimately within everything. But you have to open your heart, you have to open your mind, you have to open your consciousness to it, right? So and also another thing is, when you're tapping into this journey, what you have to understand is that the way that the information is meant to come to you and the way that you're meant to interpret it and decipher it and understand it is the way that it's meant to come to you, the way that you're meant to understand it. Like, for example, someone who may be more logical and more mechanical may find understanding in terms of science, in terms of psychology, in terms of maybe, certain structural things, okay, processes and systems. But maybe you're someone who understands things like Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Arturian, you're understanding in ancestral stuff, you understand it in the wisdom of the plants, right? So you have to just really trust how information is coming to you is the way that you're meant to understand it. And it doesn't mean that you're dumb or you're stupid or, you're not at the same level as someone who speaks in logical way and in this fancy words way, in this scholarly way. It doesn't mean that they understand it more than you do. They may understand it more in these fancy or and intricate words, but maybe you're someone who channels the divine, and you're someone who really just tap into this wisdom that you can see the colors, you can feel the feelings of the plants, you can tap into, the interconnectedness and the mycelium network when you tap into the bee and the pollen and the mushrooms and the grass and the roots, and all these magical things. So, really believe in and trust in your own ability to understand things and to interpret things. And this is what I see the most in the spiritual community and even non-spiritual community, conscious community, is that they're like trying to make the other person understand from their logic and their perspective and their way of seeing the world. It doesn't work, because your way of seeing the world is meant to be your unique perspective. That's why we are made different. That's why we are made unique, because we're meant to add colors to the same thing, to the one consciousness, right? That's the whole idea of the one consciousness, is being projected and having these seemingly fragments in all of us. Is because we're meant to bring a unique touch and taste and smell and scent and flair and colors and flavor to it, right? Otherwise, everyone's going to be the same. And what's the point of that, right? What's the point of us having this human experience if we're all the same? So being the same is, yes, it's part of the essence, but it's not the path. So when we compare ourselves to other people, that's when things fall apart. This is why you should never compare yourself, on a normal day-to-day basis, but also on a spiritual basis as well, because it doesn't mean that you are less intellectual, less in the know, because you understand and you tap into energies differently. It's all the same thing, okay? And also, there's no need to fight, okay? There's no need to fight. Like, if someone understands something in like the Buddha way, the temple path, and then another person understands it in the Christ consciousness way, oh, my throat chakra is like, oh my God, we're touching sensitive topics here. Okay, well, we're going in, right? With tapping into certain Christ consciousness or certain thing doesn't mean that we're different. We fight each other. That's the whole trap, right? It's like there's no point of you who believe in angels or understands your things through the angels and the numerology and the numbers and the astrology, and while someone understands it in the human design, or they understand it in the whatever the F system, they understand. It's all the same, okay? You all arrive to the same conclusion, okay? That we are particles of God, whatever you want to call it, right? That's why I love the first verse of the Tao Te Ching. It's like, the Tao that can be named is not the real Tao, okay? The name that can be named is not the real name, okay? The Tao is both name and nameless. So this is the energy of like, you can call it whatever you want. And we all know that there's this creator energy, this God energy, this universal energy, this higher energy, this source energy, this whatever field of infinite energy is all the same. There's no name, it's all that is. So when we begin to stop fighting and stop trying to go with the right or wrong and put each other down, and make each other wrong by our own vocabulary, by our own system of thinking, that's when we can come together and share our knowledge and share our perspective and be enlightened and open up to the different ways of looking at the same thing. Because let me tell you something, okay? Let me break this down, okay? This is what I came to realize, and that like blew my mind. It's like, the chair that like I'm sitting on and you're sitting on and around the house or whatever. Before someone calls it a chair or whatever, the chair in Spanish or in Italian or in Chinese or in like Vietnamese, whatever, okay? It's that thing. So the chair doesn't need you to label it as a chair for it to be a chair. You know what I'm saying? Right? The tree is like a tree before you call it a tree. So these labels are truly unnecessary. It's just the way that the ego likes to make sense of things, and then you fight over it. So it's really stupid at the end of the day, okay? So my people, respect your perspective, but more importantly, respect other perspective. We don't have to fight. We don't have to fuss, because at the end of the day, we're all on this journey. We're on this earth school journey to find out about what consciousness is, who we are, what we are, why we're here. Right? That's the whole question, isn't it? Who am I and why am I here? And it's a fun and beautiful process, and of course challenging and all of this. But at the end of the day, it is so beautiful and so gorgeous. Once we know how to tap into this oneness energy, once we know that we don't need to fight with our brothers and sisters, because at the end of the day, we're all one, okay? I am you, you are me, okay? Let's be real about that. So we're all like these projections and these fragments and these parts of each other. And once we acknowledge that, once you begin to see me not as a different entity, but as a part of you, okay? Once you actually see that, because it's true, I am projecting and reflecting a part of you. You know, what you see in me is what is in you. You know, maybe you're meant to integrate something. Maybe it's meant to reflect something, confirm, contrast, whatever. We're all part of each other. We're all the fragments of the one. Okay, so once we understand that, we're able to live in harmony. And even when we get mad at somebody, we're not gonna be mad for long, because we realize that we're just being mad at ourselves. And once we see that, you know, we reach enlightenment because we know how to lighten the F up. Yeah, know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, my people, let me know how you are doing down below. What's coming up for you? How are you making through your consciousness awakening energy? If you want more videos like this, give me some thumbs up, some fire emoji, some rainbows emoji. Like this video if you like it. I really appreciate it. I love making these videos for you. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed yet, because we post here every day and our vibes are really cool and fun and awesome, in my opinion. So you can think differently, that's fine. But if you like the vibe, come on in, subscribe. I send all my subscribers extra good energy on the daily. So if you want some of the good energy, come on in, come on through. This is Tina Wong. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.